Welcome, everyone. Today we're venturing into the Jellicle Ball, where feline fancy and feline fate collide in the mesmerizing musical Cats. Cats is a musical with music and lyrics by Andrew Lloyd Webber. The musical tells the story of a tribe of cats called the Jellicles, and the night they make the Jellicle choice by deciding which cat will ascend to the Heaviside layer and come back to a brand new life. Cats is based on T.S. Eliot's 1939 poetry book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. The original book is a collection of light poetry about cats that Eliot had originally written for his godchildren in the 1930s. Due to the rhythmic nature of Eliot's work, there had been previous attempts before Cats at setting his poems to music, though none of these attempts had been met with much critical or commercial success. Now, Weber began composing the songs in late 1977 as a songwriting exercise, partly because Eliot's book had been a childhood favorite, and partly to see if he could write music to predetermined lyrics. By early 1980, Weber began to consider using his musicalization of Eliot's poems for a televised concert anthology. Practical Cats, as the show was then called, was first presented as a song cycle at the 1980 Sydmonton Festival. Eliot's widow and literary executor, Valerie, was in attendance and brought along various unpublished cat-themed poems by Eliot. One of these was Grizabella the Glamour Cat, which, although rejected from Eliot's book for being too sad for children, gave Weber the idea for a full-blown musical. Shortly after the Sydmonton Festival, Andrew began setting the unpublished poems he had been given to music. He also composed the overture and the Jellicle Ball, incorporating analog synthesizers into these orchestrations to try and create a unique electronic soundscape. Weber's co-producer, Sir Cameron Mackintosh, recruited Trevor Nunn to be the show's creative director. However, one of Nunn's stipulations for agreeing to direct Practical Cats was that actress Judi Dench would be cast in the musical. Weber was happy to oblige, given her credentials, and so Dench joined the company in the dual roles of Grizabella and Jenny Anydots, along with former Royal Ballet principal dancer Wayne Sleep being offered the part of Mr. Mistopheles. Casting for other roles began in November of 1980, with auditions held across the UK for dancers who could both sing and act. Meanwhile, Mackintosh engaged the advertising agency De Winters to design a poster for the musical. After much back and forth, the agency presented a minimalist poster consisting of a pair of yellow feline eyes, with dancing silhouettes for the pupils, set against a black backdrop. The producers and the creative team loved the design, but felt that the title Practical Cats looked out of place when paired with the image of the cat's eyes. So the musical's title was thus shortened to just Cats. As the saying goes, you never say good luck on opening night. Instead, you replace it with break a leg, as this is supposed to bring good luck to the production. Well, unfortunately, that good luck turned opposite 1 week before the first preview, when Judi Dench snapped her Achilles tendon during rehearsals for The Old Gumby Cat. Shortly after this, the original musical director Chris Walker also had to leave the production for medical reasons. Judy's understudy replaced her for the character Jenny Anydots, and Elaine Page agreed to take over the role of Grizabella, which, as we know today, proved to be a crucial game changer. Now, if those two incidents weren't enough, Cats was also plagued by financial problems. Macintosh struggled to raise the $1.16 million needed to stage the musical in the West End, as major investors were skeptical of the show's premise and refused to back it, prompting Weber to personally underwrite the musical. Meant taking out a second mortgage on his house for the down payment of the theater. Andrew knew that if Cats had been a commercial failure, it would have left him in financial ruin. Well, the risk eventually paid off, with the remaining capital eventually raised by small investments procured from 220 individuals through newspaper advertisements. Regarded as one of the most challenging shows to dance in musical theater history, dance plays a major role in Cats, as the original creative team had specifically set out to create England's first dance musical. The risky hiring of a British choreographer, Lynn, for a British dance musical was described by one historian as a vivid and marvelous gesture of transatlantic defiance. Making Lynn's job more challenging was the fact that the music in Cats is unceasing and the majority of the cast remains on stage throughout nearly the entire 2 hour performance. The result? Well, the show's choreography blends ballet, modern dance, jazz, and tap interspersed with acrobatic displays. Lynn also trained the cast to evoke the movement, physicality, and behavior of actual cats. These feline traits were incorporated into the movement and choreography so as to create an anthropomorphic illusion, meaning attributing your human traits and emotions to a non human entity, in this case, becoming a cat. Lynn considered the 13-minute Jellicle ball dance to be the crucial part of the show, noting that in order to work as a dance-driven musical, Cats had to succeed there or die. The orchestra for Cats was decided on being hidden backstage, out of the audience's view, so as to not break the immersion. In the original Broadway production, catwalks were built to connect the stage to the boxes and the balcony, so as to give the cast full access to the entire auditorium during the show. Napier began designing the set in November of 1980, wanting a place where cats might congregate together, which also included maximum room for dancing. The set of cats consisted of a junkyard filled with oversized props to give the illusion that the cast are the actual size of actual cats. It remains the same throughout the show without any scene changes. Now, fun fact, over 2,500 of these scaled up props were used to fill the whole auditorium in the original Broadway production. Napier also designed the costumes, combining cat and human features based on hints given in Eliot's poems, while ensuring that they did not impede the dancers' movements. The costumes generally consist of a unitard, a wig that is fashioned to suggest the presence of feline ears, patches resembling body fur, and arm and leg warmers to give the performer's hands and feet a more paw-like appearance. As with the contrasting music and dance styles, the costumes and makeup are used to bring out each character's distinct personality. Every character's design motif is custom painted by hand onto a plain unitard to line up with their performer's individual body. Cats opened at the West End's New London Theatre in May of 1981, running for 8,949 performances, before closing on its 21st anniversary back in May of 2002, with the final performance broadcasted live on a large outdoor screen in Covent Garden for fans who could not acquire a ticket. Pretty ingenious there. In October of 1982, the Jellicle Cats moved into their next home in Broadway's Winter Garden Theater, running for 7,485 performances and earning a record-breaking $6.2 million in ticket pre-sales. It was the most expensive Broadway show ever mounted at the time, with a production cost of $5.5 million, though it recouped its investment in less than 10 months. Now, fun fact number two, at the time the musical was forced to have had an economic impact of $3.12 billion on New York City, it had generated the most theatrical jobs of any single entity in Broadway history. In 1998, a direct-to-video film was captured at the Adelphi Theatre in London, starring Elaine Page, seven-decade career actor John Mills, actor and singer and voice of Disney's Oogie Boogie, Ken Page, and actor, diver, and gymnast Michael Gruber. In 2014, Cats returned to the West End for a limited run at the London Palladium. This revival starred singer-songwriter and former member of the pop dance group The Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger, and in April 2015, actress and singer Carrie Ellis took over the role of Grisabella, the Glamour Cat. By October of 2015, singer-songwriter Beverly Knight would assume the role with her own beautiful, haunting rendition of Memory. By July of 2016, the Journey to the Heaviside Layer would once again be reborn at Broadway's Neil Simon Theatre, running for 593 performances and starring British singer-songwriter Leona Lewis. Since its initial Broadway debut, Cats has been translated into over 15 languages and produced professionally in more than 30 countries. It has been staged in over 4 extensive national touring companies, grossing over $400 million. 2019 unfortunately saw a poorly received massive box office flop when Universal Pictures released a film adaptation starring comedian and talk show host James Corden English actress Dame Judi Dench, singer and songwriter Jason Derulo, actor, singer, and rapper Idris Elba, singer and actress Jennifer Hudson, seven-decade career actor Ian McKellen, Australian actress and producer Rebel Wilson, and singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. Katz established musical theater as a global commodity, making the beginning of a new era in the industry that is characterized by huge global stakes for potentially even huger global profits. It led the shift in the Broadway market towards big-budget blockbusters and shows that appeal to families and tourists. Katz ushered in a golden age of British musicals, which saw West End exports dominate the industry for nearly 2 decades. Additionally, Katz was the first Broadway and West End show to capitalize on merchandising as a major revenue stream. Stalls were set up in the theater lobbies to sell souvenirs ranging from toys and watches to coffee mugs, all of which were emblemized with the Cat's Eyes logo. Now, fun fact, by the 1980s, the official Cats t-shirt became the second best-selling t-shirt in the world, second only to the Hard Rock Cafe's t-shirt. Cats revolutionized the touring business as well by introducing the new commonplace practice of extended touring engagements that can last several weeks or months into a single city, as opposed to the typical 1 week or 10-day tour stop. Macintosh's insistence that all touring productions of Cats replicate the Broadway production also resulted in the expansion and upgrading of regional theater venues to accommodate the musical's demanding logistical requirements, as local theater owners did not want to miss out on the opportunity to host the immense show. Gang, I can officially announce that a newly reimagined production of Cats, inspired by New York City's ballroom scene, will play a brand new performance space at the World Trade Center site in Lower Manhattan this summer during Pride 2024. The production is part of the upcoming inaugural season at Perelman Performing Arts Center, a brand new performing arts space set to hit Lower Manhattan's World Trade Center site with a grand opening in September of this year. With events planned across the worlds of theater, dance, music, opera, and film, the space hopes to become a cultural hub in downtown New York City. The innovative space is uniquely flexible, with the ability for multiple performance spaces to be configured in various setups, or even combined into a larger concert hall. If you would like more information on the Jellicle Ball itself, I will have a link in the description below. Cats remind us that every cat, just like every person, has a story to tell. And who knows, maybe someday we'll all find ourselves among the Jellicles dancing under the Jellicle moon. All right, come on, you guys, break it up. Leave the squirrel alone.